No. Age is not only a number. And then you become invisible. That's the truth. That is the reality. 30, it's not the new 18, and 40, it's not the new 20. I wanted to talk about this trend for a while now. This is one of those things that modern women seem to not be realistic about. And it's hurting the youth. There seems to be 3 types of women in this category, or so I become aware of. There's the young ones that have the false sense that the world is theirs and getting old, it's not for them. There's the old ones that are in denying that they're old now. And then there's the old ones that are finally coming to terms to that they're old and it's kinda over. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like you're not relevant anymore, because you are human, and obviously human life is relevant regardless of the biological age, but you have to kind of make yourself that way. In other words, being a gift to the world doesn't make you a gift by default. You have to become the person that people need and want to have around. We like to think of women as flowers, just because they bloom and they are incredibly beautiful. But we forget that the lifespan of a flower is very short-lived. And unfortunately, that's what happens with a woman's youth and beauty. And it's even more short-lived if she doesn't take care to respect and preserve that. In other words, whether we like it or not, there is a lot of competition. Every day there is a new 18-year-old that can make the 31 obsolete. And that's why when you're 30 is a bit like sorry but not sorry. It's not like you're not relevant, but there are other women way better looking than you. So obviously, people are gonna choose the best if the situation is given. We all do that. It's perfectly natural. And then we have a significant amount of women trying to cope with this by saying, it's okay. But it's not. It's not okay to deny the existence of reality and how that affects us. It's not okay to pretend that's not happening. It's not okay to dress or behave younger to make up for the loss of our youth. And what's most important, it's that we're failing miserably to teach younger women to preserve and respect and take care of their health and beauty. Truly. I'm not okay as I'm getting older, and I'm not okay that my body becomes obsolete. I do care how men see me, and it hurts when I'm becoming invisible. I'm full of mistakes that I regret, and I have difficulties forgiving myself. I'm really jealous of the young ones, and when I was their age, I wish I would have known what I know now. I haven't appreciated what I had, and now I am losing it. And yeah, this is what it is. And no, it's not okay, because if we say, oh, don't worry, that's okay, that means that we deny it and not addressing it, wrapping it all up in loving yourself the way you are, when in fact, this is anything but loving. Denial of all this means denying our life. Mistakes and regrets, fuck-ups and bad choices are part of our life. if not the most important part of life, believe it or not. Hashtag no regrets doesn't exist in real life. Since we can't just wash it off regardless of what we say to ourselves, what happened cannot be wiped off. Choices make changes, and no one gets away with things in the end. We want to accept the way we are. So how do we find out how we are? More often than not, if we got trapped into this narrative at any point in time, we don't even know how we are because we haven't had the courage to even begin to think about that. It's going to be very painful, hence why we never dare to look in that direction. Granted, just because you're getting older and you happen to be born a woman doesn't mean you're the black sheep. But there's for sure a shitload of shadow that we haven't been taught to address, or even to admit its existence. And whenever it happens, it's going to be for the first time that we're gonna look inwards rather than outwards for the source of our unhappiness. You realize that it's being you versus you all along. And it's actually you that's let yourself down the most. It's you that's fucking up. They sold us the idea that it's the world that's bad. That's the world that does things. The world is unfair and harmful. And that's true. But what we're quick to forget is that we make the world. We are the world. And if we're taught to blame ourselves for our choices, that means we have control. And if we have control, that means we can change things. And if we can change things, that means we can think. And if we think, we can't be easily controlled. So it's best we indoctrinate each other to focus on an overwhelmingly unsolvable issue, fixing the world, when in fact we don't realize that by fixing ourselves, we fix the world. Imagine a world where every person, woman or man, that takes responsibility for their choices, good or bad. Imagine a world where every person spends their life being aware of their being and working on themselves. That world wouldn't lack so much, don't you think? So you might wonder, if all this is painful, why in the world would someone even begin to address their past choices? Well, at the end of it, it's that true freedom that we all seem to seek or want. And I'm not talking about the freedom that Hollywood portrayed for us.